what I'm going to point you to is the solution for week 4. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just click on this guy. This is in the announcements. And what we're going to do is take a close look, a really close look at the code. Okay, so what I've got here, and I can shut all this other stuff off, is I'm going to save it as just anything, form.html. So what it means to be dynamic, it means that no matter what your HTML in the form is, right, that this can change, but your code will still validate. So what we're looking for is that you validate by the type of input, not by anything else that's specific to that input. So something like full name, if we were to validate the name attribute as full name to see if it has a value of empty, then someone else could add another text field, and then that would not be able to be validated. I'm going to close this out real quick, and we're going to go to the form itself. Okay, so I've got form here. I'm going to open it up. This is the form. And when I hit enter, you see please enter your full name, please enter your gender, etc. Right? So if I hit go back here and look at it, that's because we're evaluating by type. So the cool thing is, let's say you're working in a company, and that company has people who do JavaScript, you, and people who do HTML. So what you want to do is make sure that your code will adapt to changes made by the group that controls the HTML. Here's an example. Let's say I were to add a field here, okay? And I were to say, add your email. Okay, so I have email. And I can do name equals email, something like that. Email here. And a placeholder called enter your email. Okay, now it's still, we're going to kill off this ID. So pretend I'm the HTML guy and I just wanted to add an email field. So you're sitting in your office, this change happens in the HTML, and you're thinking maybe, well, maybe I have to change my code. But watch this, if I do enter, enter, enter. So it says please enter your, you see how it says please enter your full name? I'm going to go ahead and fix that, by the way. So basically, if the, and this is, let me go to the text here. Please enter your full name. This, watch, we're going to make this dynamic right now. Okay, so it's, we're going to say that var area equals forms elements dot name. Okay, so this variable will equal the document, the first form, the elements, and whatever I is, which is going to be a number, and then the name attribute. So I'm going to do area. Okay. Now watch what happens. I'll comment everything else out so you don't have to get distracted by anything. And now I can just hit refresh. And so I didn't change my JavaScript at all other than making it dynamic. So watch this. If I hit enter, enter your full name, enter your email. Look at that. That's dynamic. Okay. So let's add another one. We're going to add, let's say the HTML guy needs to add your phone number. Okay, so let's do the phone number. Phone number. And this name can be phone. Okay, so the HTML guy makes his change. All right, there's the HTML guy. It launches the website back up, right? You've written your code to be dynamic, so now watch what happens when I hit enter. Full name, email, and now phone. Because we're taking what the HTML guy entered and putting it as a variable that equals the name attribute of that location. So you can keep doing this and keep playing, but if you look at the rest of the code from the solution, we're always evaluating by type. So if the HTML guy adds a new type, a new element of any of these types, because all types are covered, it's going to validate that type. Okay? So the idea is you got this little block of code, right? I never had to change it. Now we can add another thing. Let's say we wanted to add enter your, here we'll say enter street address. Okay, and so all we have to do is, for the name, we'll do street address. Okay, and we'll do enter your street address. So again, HTML guy's making the change, and JavaScript guy, you don't have to change anything. So there's full name, email, phone, and street address. And that's what it means to be dynamic. The code doesn't need any adjustments. So when you go in for a job interview, when you always get that first interview with the human resources director, and they always ask you open-ended questions. And your job is going to be to show them, you're going to explain to them what I just explained to you about how your code adapts to changes in its environment. That's what we mean when we say sustainable and maintainable code. And those are the guys that get hired. It's the people who aren't dynamic who don't get the job. I hope that makes sense.